What's up, guys? We are going to do a quick tutorial on power cleans. So I'm going to go over just some of the fundamentals, why you do them, why I like them in programming, and then Zay's going to actually do the demo, and then I'll kind of give him cues as we go, things to look at. So basically the power clean is one of the fundamental exercises I like to use for power, and that is because it has one of the highest peak power outputs. If you were to look at like weightlifters or something like that, their peak power is insane, the rate of force development's insane, and in terms of their absolute strength, they're also really good. So it's a good stimulus for improving those qualities. So if you want to get more powerful, obviously that's going to be something that you want to work on as a jumper. This is going to be a good stimulus to use. So Zay's going to go ahead and demo it, and I'll show you guys some of the things that you should be thinking about. So he's going to walk into the bar here, so it's against the top of, or on his neck and above his clavicle on the shoulders. Go ahead, Zay, step back. You can see he's got 2 fingers on the bar for mobility, and that's his rack position, head up. Got a flat back. Go ahead, Zay, do your rep. Comes up. That's his rep. All right, so Zay's setup position here. He's going to walk underneath the bar so that the bar is over the ball of his feet. And then what he's going to do is bend his knees so they're in front of the bar and keep his shoulders in front of the bar. Other things to think about: keeping the back as flat as you possibly can here and trying to keep a slight arch and the head neutral. From this position, you're going to go ahead and push the knees back, Zay, and pause above the knee, and we'll just show him the positioning. So this is the first pull. This is the first part of the lift. You can go ahead and set the bar back down. What you want to try to observe here is that the shins are pretty vertical. So you can just do a couple reps of that as I'm talking about it. The shins are vertical. The back is going to stay as flat as he can get it. And he's also going to want to make sure that his back angle stays exactly the same. So if you were to look at his back angle in the set position, as he stands up, go slow, that back angle doesn't change. Okay, that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. Another good cue is think about it like a leg press. So that's the first pull. Then what you're going to want to do is add a jump in. So that's the second pull. So the first pull is going to be to above the knees, making sure to push the knees back, and then adding in a jump. So that's where the power output comes from. And then the next one is going to be with the catch. So first pull from the floor to above the knee, jumps above the knee, bar comes up to the shoulders. So on that catch position, it's basically an upright row to a front squat. So if you watch the bar path, it stays really close to his body. Most people have done an upright row. Zay has an empty bar here, and he's going to show you guys how you get the bar from your thigh up to your shoulders. Most people kind of do a reverse curl. So go ahead, Zay, go slow and pull it up to the shoulders. So he's pulling the bar really slowly and then racking it into a front squat. This is a good drill that you can do to warm up, to kind of learn what we call the bar path. So the bar path, ideally off the floor, moves close to you, close to your hips. And then as you jump, it bumps out in front and kind of loops around onto the shoulders. You want to try to keep the bar as close as possible to your body the whole time, though. So as you can see here, Zay's elbows, when he comes down into the second pull, they pull backwards and up, and then he turns his elbows over, pulls them in front of the bar, and gets the bar into a front rack position. Some people, the fingers will come off the bar on the catch. Zay is keeping, I think, 3 fingers on the bar here. Sometimes on his actual cleans, they'll kind of move to 2. One other thing to consider is when you jump, you can cue yourself to jump into a squat. So you don't want to let the knees come forward. You want to let the hips and knees both bend. So jump, and then see how he breaks down kind of into this semi-squat position. That's going to be important for receiving the weight on the catch. Good. So Zay here is just going to do some reps, and he's going to go ahead, do 1 rep, and then when you lower the weight, Zay, bring it down to the hip, then set it down. So that's one way that you can lower cleans if you have metal plates. A lot of people say, well, I don't have bumper plates. Isaiah and myself both learned without bumper plates. And all you're going to want to do is just do the reverse action. So you're going to bring the bar down from the shoulders, down to the hip, and then down to the floor. All right. The other option is if you have bumper plates, you can go ahead and just drop it. So Zay, go ahead and do a rep, and then you'll drop the weight. So the bumper plates don't bounce very high. So it's fine to drop them if you have them and you're in a gym that you're allowed to do that. And that is how you do a power clean. All right, guys, so one other thing that'll help you with your Olympic lifting is learning how to hook grip. So basically for the hook grip, you want to find your set position. For me, what I like to do is, and this is on the clean obviously, I use the knurling, and I use this kind of like line or where my joint is on my thumb. I put that around the knurling and then keep my hand open. Then I wrap my thumb, I'm facing this way so you guys can see. I wrap my thumb around, and I take my pointer finger, put it on one side of my knuckle, and my middle finger and put it on the other. So some people will use 3 fingers, some people use 2. For me, this is the most comfortable. And this is gonna help you get a better grip on the bar when you do your Olympic lifting. You can do it on the clean or you can do it on the snatch. I do it on clean pulls, power cleans, and power snatch. Obviously you can do it on full cleans, full snatches as well. But this is gonna help with the turnover and not muscling the bar with your arms. So this kind of gives you that smooth, I guess, transition. A lot of people that just grip the bar have a tendency to just do an upright row or a reverse curl and try to get it on the shoulders. This is a leg exercise. You're jumping with the weight and then simultaneously pulling it onto the shoulders. So that's one thing that'll help you guys just in general when you do hang cleans, power clean, full clean, whatever you want to do, something to work on. It's uncomfortable at first, but eventually it will get easy. Maybe the only other thing I'd say is on your rack position. If you're not very mobile, try different positions with your hands. If you don't feel like the bar's on your shoulders and you feel a lot of tightness, that just means you need to stretch more, do more mobility work in your shoulders. Some people don't have the external rotation to get in a position, or their forearms are a weird length, but just some other considerations for you guys to think about if you are struggling with a clean or something like that. So the last thing I want to talk about is common mistakes in the power clean. Probably the most common thing that I see is an issue in the first pull. So remember, the first pull is going to be from the floor to above the knee. And what a lot of people will want to do is do a deadlift action. And in a deadlift, when you're in the set position here, you actually lift the chest up at the same rate that you're extending the knees. So you're standing up and your hip is angulating at the same time that your knee is. In a clean, you actually, there's different ways to do it, but you want to keep the shoulders slightly in front of the bar. So it's gonna feel like, at times that you're maybe leaning forward a little bit over the bar. You still can balance through your midfoot, but you do wanna have more of a hinging action at the start, at the set position, and then come down to get into your actual set position by bending the knees. So the first pull is essentially what I like to compare to a leg press. A lot of people, when they screw up a clean, they'll bump their knees. If you're bumping your knees, that means that your torso is coming up early. You want to extend the knees first. So the first pull should just look like this. So that is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. The second one is going to be on the catch position. So when people are really immobile, what they'll tend to do is reverse curl the bar up, and that's just gonna hit you in the throat. So what you wanna try to do is get comfortable with that bar path. So you wanna make sure that when you're doing cleans, the bar path after you jump, the bar is gonna end in this position, and this is smooth. So you time up the jump with the pull, and then it's an upright row as high as you can. Elbows should be back behind you, and then they come around in front near the catch position. One other thing that people screw up is they try to hold the bar. The bar should be sitting on your shoulders. So if you can't do a front squat, cleans are going to be really hard, so you can even warm up with front squats as well. Those are probably the biggest in terms of just common mistakes with people that have basic safety things down. They have a flat back. They can get into the first pull position without bending or arching or anything like that. This would be the next thing to kind of look at. So after you know that the lift is safe, these would be the next things to kind of look at. The third one is on the catch position as well. What people tend to do is shoot the knees forward on the catch. When you make the catch on a clean, your hips should bend and your knees should bend at the same time. So what I like to do is to teach this, I like to go to that position at the end of the first pull and just pantomime this without a bar or anything in my hand, and then I jump and land in a squat. So by doing that, you're basically teaching yourself that movement pattern. If you can't do that without a bar, it's gonna be really hard for you to do it with a bar. So those are the common mistakes that I tend to see. I've done a tutorial on this before and people still make those mistakes, so I figured this would be helpful for you guys that are learning to do a power clean.